sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
Hey! Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Maple.
And I am Heather Terry.
And this is our podcast about true crime and fucked up people doing fucked up shit. And then we talk about it and we say the word fuck a lot. That's what we do here.
It's her favorite word. Tastes good in her mouth.
in my sloppy mouth.
In her sloppy mouth, yes.
Yeah.
That is accurate. You guys, we have a treat for you.
It's a big old treat.
Okay, lean in close. Lean in close.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to lean in closer to the mic. I was like, and let's do it.
You guys.
We have a guest.
We have our first guest on U.S. soil. I was corrected earlier.
Not even a guest. We have the, capital letters, the guest.
Yeah, we're setting the bar high right off the jump.
I mean, I don't know what to do after this.
Okay,
we'll just let him replace Heather.
Wow.
I know, came in hard and fast.
You guys, we have Chad Benefield.
Dun, dun, dun.
What a great instrumentation you just gave me, using only your lips and your tongue. That was amazing.
Wow. $5 every time she heard that?
Oh, shut it. Let me just introduce Chad, because for anyone who listens to us that's not here in Owensboro, Kentucky, this is the Chad.
The Chad.
The Chad. So Chad Benefield, I'm going to just read this beautiful, I'm not just doing this off the cuff, beautiful biography of him.
Are you really reading the bio that I sent you?
Yeah.
That's from the website of a board that I'm on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's beautiful.
I got to brag about you, Chad.
Yeah, we need people to know who the Chad is. Okay. Yeah. So he was born right here in Owensboro, Kentucky. After graduating with a BA from the University of Louisville, he moved to San Diego.
Yeah.
And I loved living in Hannahona.
Was it a beautiful
It was a great place to live.
It was a great place.
The weather was phenomenal all the time.
50s.
If you ever get a chance to check out Hannahona, you really should do that.
Oh, this is going to be my favorite episode. I can already tell.
Can't even, okay. Sorry. Okay. There he staged productions for J Company, the youth performing arts division of the Lawrence Family Jewish Community Center, where he also served as production director for the Streisand Festival. Streisand. Got it.
Do you? Because you asked me who that was.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Who's Streisand?
I can already hate everything.
In Barbara Streisand, you know, Babs.
Yeah. She's kind of up and coming.
I hate everyone. And in the fall of '97, he was actually granted admission to the broadcast journalism graduate program at NYU, but he loved Owensboro and he stayed here with us, and we are all grateful for it.
Yes.
So it was supposed to be a brief stay, and then he ended up joining WBKR on the radio, and he just celebrated his 25th anniversary, and that's why his voice is so perfect and why he's going to do such a great job, because he has 25 glorious years of radio knowledge.
That's a technical term?
Yeah.
Did you learn that in Hampshire?
I learned that my brief stay in Okay. Yeah. I'm cutting through some of this. He oversees content for 7 different radio stations and websites in the tri-state area. He was also nominated for an Academy of Country Music Award as Small Market Personality of the Year.
I don't think I knew any of this.
Yeah, I lost.
Well,
and I'm still bitter about it.
Well, now we are too. We have a new chip on our shoulders, if you will. And he has also been a guest announcer at the Grand Ole Opry on numerous occasions.
Really?
Do I bow down now, or do you want me to do it at the end?
How many times have you been on the Grand Ole Opry stage?
Probably 8. I've been guest announcer about 8 times, I think.
That's just so amazing.
So you want to hear a really funny story? So
more than anything.
When I was a kid, there was an amusement park in Nashville called Opryland. Now, do you all remember Opryland? Was that before your time?
It was. I like how you're pointing at me because I'm older. Yes, it was before my time. However, I did work at the resort, so I know a lot about it.
Oh, that's right. You did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it closed. Opryland closed, I think, in the mid to late 90s.
Yes.
And but when I was a kid, that was the place to go. I mean, obviously, we had, Holiday World across the river, which was awesome, but Opryland was just it, because you had tons of country music stars who would sing inside the park, and the Grand Ole Opry was there. Well, my grandparents used to take us as kids, And obviously, because they were older, they were less concerned about the rides, like the Wabash Cannonball and Hangman and stuff like that. They were more concerned with sitting down and watching shows. Well, if you're a kid, that sucks.
Yeah.
So, who wants to go to Opryland and watch the shows? And so they used to drag us to the Grand Ole Opry, and I was always so miserable.
Aw.
And my grandparents loved it, and they would sit there, and Brenda Lee would come out and sing, and my granddad would just lose it because he was obsessed with her.
Aww.
And it's so funny that my life sort of came full circle, and then I've now been back to the Grand Ole Opry. I have tons of friends who work there, and I've actually stood on the stage during the show and have been an announcer. So it's
That's amazing.
My heart's bursting.
And
really
that's the
odd.
longest running radio show, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It
The more
dates
you
back
know.
decades and decades and decades and multiple locations. But I mean, it's always it's been at that particular location for, 30 something years now, maybe 40.
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal.
I did a meet and greet with a comedian that I saw there at the Angela Johnson, and Will looked over. He goes, "Are you crying?" Because that was the first time I've ever stood on the actual stage.
Yeah,
And
right?
I was going to meet her, so I kind of I know. You're just staring at me. That crying is that wet stuff that comes from your eyeball.
God, I hate crying.
She just looked at me.
I know. I was like, did you cry?
I farted on you. I just stared. I'm like, what? I did cry.
Well,
Well, if you
those
ever go there,
feelings.
Brooklyn, if you ever take a tour backstage of the Grand Ole Opry, part of that tour, you get to go out onto the stage and you get to stand in the world famous circle that's right in center stage.
It's awesome.
That's a
It's so
legendary
fancy
place to stand and to get your selfies.
Just me and my selfies. Me and my selfies.
Chad loves a selfie. I asked him to take a. I was like, "Do you want me to take a picture of you guys?" He looked at me like, "How dare you?" I'm like, "Okay, sorry."
He's like, I have an arm that is like a selfie stick. I've got this under control.
Well, I'll tell you. So when I was in California working for J Company, my coworker was Beth Smith. She was the director there. Well, we left California about the same time. I left first, and she decided she didn't want to stay in California, so she actually reconnected with her childhood sweetheart, her high school sweetheart. They ended up getting married and moving to Brooklyn.
Cute.
Well, Beth was the mistress of the selfie before selfies were even a thing, and before cell phones were a thing. Like, she could take a handheld camera
and
take perfect selfies.
Oh my God.
So she taught me how to do it. I learned from the best.
I mean,
And
What a
so today,
talent.
with cell phones, I mean, I'm the king of selfies. I can get a group
really
of 30 people in a selfie with my go-go gadget right arm.
Yeah,
That's
really are.
amazing. I feel like that should be one of those, like, whenever you're doing an icebreaker in a room of strangers and they're like, what's your hidden talent? And
Yeah.
you're like, I can take fucking killer selfies.
I know. Why wasn't that in there?
Right. Why wasn't that in your biography?
wasn't that in your
Also,
bio?
he served as a.
That's awesome. I also have some questions
Hey,
that I
hold
wanted
on.
to ask Chad.
I did want to. What are your puppies' names? Because it's mentioned in his biography.
I have 3, all rescues, of course. I have a rescued Bashan Frise named...
I didn't know how to say it. That's why I needed you to do
got
that.
it. Yeah, she's a Bashan Frise.
Well, you really couldn't say that one if you couldn't say California. So,
Her name is Ellie. Fun fact about Ellie. So she came from Virginia, where her owner was incredibly obese and couldn't care for the dog. And so some friends of mine extracted the dog from the home, and she came to me. I have Yogi, who is also a Bashan Frise. And so he came from a local family who moved and they couldn't take him. So he got into the Sparky program. Actually, he never made it into the Sparky program because they came for a segment on our show. And Jen, who works for them, said, "Oh, hey, by the way, we just got a Bashan Frise this morning." I said, "Oh, bring him to my house this afternoon. I want him."
Oh my gosh, that was so easy.
Yeah, so he came to my house. I had never met the dog, and he came and he never left.
That's cute.
Well, it's cute until you realize that the family that owned him still lives in town. And so I was emceeing for television the Owensboro Christmas Parade. So this all plays out live on TV. Well, Angel, my radio co-host, was also the co-host for the parade broadcast for television. And so she's the woman on the street, right? So before the parade got to us, she was down interviewing kids, and she had this kid on, very young. And she's interviewing him and stuff, and she references my name. She says, Chad. So again, this is all live on TV for the Christmas parade, which is supposed to be festive.
I'm so on the edge of my
Well, you
seat
should
right
be.
now.
And so the child hears my name and says, "Oh, wait, is that Chad?" And Angel said, "Yeah, that's Chad. You want to say hi?" And he goes, "Mr. Chad, you have my dog Yogi."
Is there footage of this? I want to see it.
I don't know that there's footage, and I hope there's not, because it
no.
was traumatic.
What did you say and what did she say?
Well,
So wait, weren't they going to leave? Wait,
no, they had to give the dog up, but I got the dog.
right.
But the young child didn't really understand why they had to give the dog
so they
up.
just think that you stole the dog?
we've since mended that fence. But it was very awkward when the child looked into the television camera and I'm seeing him on my monitor and he goes, Mr. Chad, you have my dog Yogi.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
That's amazing.
That
For
is
the love.
amazing.
Where's Santa Claus?
How
Of
did she,
all the
did
kids,
She just like
of all the
Ashley
kids.
Simpson off the screen. Like, what did she do?
Yeah. She was
The
like, well,
child
this
or
is.
Angel?
Either one.
Oh, Angel. Well, you know Angel. She was like, well, okay, this is awkward. Merry Christmas.
You just reenacted her
That
so
was-
perfectly.
Angel
Oh my
Welch.
gosh. I love
We
Angel.
love you, Angel, but he does a really good Angel.
I know he did.
Well, I should
really
after
did.
7 years.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And then I have Simon, who was also a Sparky Pet of the Week. They brought him into the studio. We were going to try to find him a forever home. And as soon as he turned the corner and came in, I'm like, oh, come here, sweet boy. Come here, sweet boy. So I literally flipped the mic and I said, well, it's time for our Sparky Pet of the Week. But there was absolutely zero opportunity for you to adopt this dog because he's going home with me.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much.
And so he's been with us ever since.
See, I have been waiting for the day that I just take a Sparky dog. And for Heather, I try, like, if there's one thing that I don't know, that I try to push on
She's
Heather.
a puppy pusher.
I'm a puppy pusher like a motherfucker.
She's like,
I can't help
she's
it.
like, can't we just get a dog?
What, the two of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, like, you know, like 50-50 it. I don't know.
My
Why
dog
can't we?
hates other humans and other dogs, so there's no chance. And I keep telling her, but
And I keep thinking one day she'll change her mind and we'll have a puppy together. And I just don't care. I just want a little meatball just running around.
I do want to get a real fat dog and name it Meatball. Real bad.
Yeah.
Well, see, you've already decided on a name. I mean,
I know.
I
I
feel
know.
like this.
I'm telling you.
This partnership could be mutual and
Well,
it could
and
work.
Tracy said that we can have a dog here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which would just mean that me and Heather would have a
Chad's
dog.
like, oh, really?
Did she say that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a violation of company policy, but okay.
She's like, yeah, we're also
I'm
going to
pretty
station Parrot too. We'll name him Chad if you let us do it.
Sure. Chad Meatball or Meatball Chad.
Do you have any other questions from his?
Oh no, that was really the most important thing to me. I
You
needed to
wanted
know
me
the
to say
dogs.
the breed. I didn't know how to say that.
Yeah,
There's no
I would have
way.
been like the Bajon Frices.
And yes, I got one of those Bashan Frices in Hula, where I lived during the mid-'90s,
Oh, this is fun.
working with Streisand.
Oh my God. Chad's now a member of the Sassholes. He's an honorary Sasshole, and I'm so excited.
I'm glad you are.
Okay, we have talked about some death row meals because usually if we talk about a serial killer that gets put on death row, we talk about what they ate at the end because some of them eat
Zero
some
question.
dumb shit.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you eat for your death row?
Without a doubt, a pepperoni pizza from John's on Bleecker Street in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was
hands down.
You
he
had
was
that,
so
like, in
ready.
your
It's my
poster.
favorite. It's my favorite restaurant / pizza place in the world.
Well,
and
Ken,
only one thing. Is there
Yeah, you
anything
get, like,
else?
Actually,
Because you
they
really
have,
get everything you want.
They have meatballs for appetizers that are amazing. They're about the size of baseballs, and they're coated
my
in
God.
marinara sauce.
Okay.
I think you get 3 per order. Of course, since COVID and inflation, they're like $30 now, but still.
I bet.
Sounds like it's
delicious.
worth it. Meatball. We've said that more today than we have ever. What was the first case that got you into true crime?
The one I'm going to talk about today.
Yes. That we both
Ooh.
don't know about, and we're so excited.
That's
by the way.
local, by the way.
Oh, it is local.
Yeah.
So here.
For
Yes.
sure, this one,
To
hands
Owensboro,
down.
Kentucky. I'm so excited.
I
Okay.
am too.
But I've sort of always been fascinated by crime, particularly serial killers.
Yeah.
In fact, so on one of my bookshelves at home in the living room, because I want people to feel really welcome when they come over, I have the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers.
That's amazing.
Fun fact, I wanted to get a copy of that, and I shopped on Amazon and things like that. I think I eventually bought my copy from eBay. So when I went
What's
into
that? No, I'm kidding.
right, so
Obey.
when I went in to order the copy of that book, do you know where it came from?
Ask her because you already told me the story.
California?
Owensboro, Kentucky.
It's in California.
I literally placed my order for the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers, and it was shipped to me from another residence in Owensboro.
That's wild.
I know.
that is-
Somebody here had that book.
That is really cool, though. What would your serial killer nickname be?
Oh, that's a good
Because
question.
the media always like comes up with the ones, and I just think I would get like a really stupid one, like the happy
Oh,
face.
100%. You'd get a terrible
I
one.
would get a really stupid one.
So what do you think yours would be? Let me ask. I need
Oh,
an
hell.
example.
I didn't think about what mine would be. You go first.
Because we have like the Boston Strangler, right?
Yeah,
We
mine
have
would be something dumb.
the
because
Unabomber. We have...
I'd get something with
the
I
brunette,
laugh all the time.
brunette banshee.
I like that.
That's a good one.
Dun,
No,
dun,
I can't
dun.
take
See?
that.
Like, I hear that, and I think you may have already killed.
I know.
Like, I feel like there's a
who
deep
knows I
freeze
haven't.
somewhere with some of your friends in it.
You guys check on me.
You know, I don't know. That's a really good question. I've never thought about that because I've never really thought about murder. But just good.
But that's a solid step in the right direction of life.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me think. I'll get back to you at the end of the
Yes.
podcast.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, mine would
The
be something
Radio
about
Ripper.
laughing. Oh,
Oh, I like that.
Apparently, this is something I have a talent
I know,
for
pick
this.
one for me
Apparently, well, now, God, now all the pressure's on me.
she's like, I have a talent. I'm like, use it again. You're like,
I've got hers. The bad Kelly Clarkson.
Ooh. Dun, dun, dun.
He's about
Again.
to be my first victim. Talk about my woman.
Oh,
like
by the
that.
way, another fun fact about Heather and I, we share something in common. We have both been members of Kelly Clarkson's virtual audience. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that Chad did.
Yeah.
He did it.
I was first.
He did it first, and I was really jealous. And then I got on twice.
You did get on twice. And by the
Yes.
way, the episode that I was on, we were promised, every member of the studio audience, of course, we were all virtual, we were all promised a $200 OtterBox gift card. I never got it.
I never got my gift card because I won a prize.
I think we have a class action lawsuit.
I think we do too.
I'm
The
not
guy-
above suing her.
Right? I know. Well, she talked to me on the break. She's like,
Oh, that's right, she
She's like,
did.
who was supposed to meet you in Vegas? And I just raised my hand, and she goes, "Oh, girl, I hate COVID. It's so stupid." She's like, "No, no, no," and I was like, and then they cut the cameras, and I literally fell on the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, she talked to me. She knows who I am. And Brooklyn had a question for you. If you were going to go to jail, what would you be charged with, do you think?
I already know my shit. Money laundering. If I was going to go to jail, I'm laundering fucking money, guys. I'm going to put it in
I
a
would help
dryer
her.
and I'm going to make it look dirty. And then I'm going to put it through nail salons and
yeah,
tax accountants.
Do that
and
so I can go get my nails done.
yeah, I'm going to launder money.
I'm going to give the most lame answer. Do you all ask all of your guests this question?
Just you?
the
The
only
just
other-
you, Chad?
The only other guest we've ever had, we were drunk in Cancun. So
That's right. I forgot.
Soraya
Yeah.
did a great job, but we didn't ask her any questions because we could barely say our own names. At the
Yeah, she had to carry the show on her back.
I love that you all did an episode completely hammered.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the lamest answer you will ever get.
Okay.
I'm just like I'm so opposed to crime. I wouldn't commit one.
I am too, but I also just came up with a bullshit reason. Would you love somebody to death? Is that what you would do, Chad?
No.
It would probably be because I love so hard. I probably would have
get
loved
arrested
someone to death.
For stealing a dog from a bad owner.
Oh, I've done that.
Okay, so you have committed a
I've
crime.
done that. Oh yeah, I don't consider that a crime.
I know.
I
Yeah.
consider that a service. I have
agree.
really bad road rage though, so there's a potential that there could be a really serious road rage incident where, like, I drove Fred the Fusion up somebody's backside.
I like that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
but I actually have run over somebody once.
What?
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? My nose just hit the microphone.
Yeah. So no, I really did. So when I was in college,
Oh my God.
I ran over somebody at U of L, like for reals.
What?
Don't know the story. It was very odd. He would not let us call the authorities after it happened. So he must have been doing something he wasn't supposed to do. But there was I was actually on my way into school. And I turned into, it was on 4th Street, a huge parking lot. When I say huge, I mean the size of like multiple football fields. So it's not like something you would see at Walmart in this massive parking lot for students. And so I turned and I could actually see over on the right-hand side, I could see somebody running across the parking lot at full speed. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think anything of it because I never in a million years thought he would run out into the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Well, his timing was perfect. So he ran out,
my
but
God.
he was on the other side of a truck and he ran out from that side of the truck into the middle of the parking lot street. And so I had this Mercury Topaz and I hit him and like full on hit him. And he rolled off the hood down the passenger side. Like, so when my car came to a stop, you could see his chin and fingerprints in the side of the car where he rolled backwards down the car. And then he rolled off the back of the car and like onto the pavement. So he couldn't breathe when I got to him. He was gasping for air because completely knocked the wind out of him. And so I sat down next to him. I said, you've got to relax. You've got to stay still. You've got to like focus on breathing. So he finally like got his senses together and stuff. And he had to be injured. And so I was like immediately in proactive mode. I was like barking orders at all the people who were standing by. I'm like, ma'am, go across the street and call 911. You do this. And like, I'm trying to tend to this guy.
because cell phones weren't.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's before. Yeah. Thank you, Brooklyn. Yes. Before the advent of cell
He
phones.
said mercury topaz, and I was like, okay, we're throwing it back a little bit.
I was like, I've never even
I
heard
don't
of
even know. It
that.
sounds like a crayon.
I thought it was. I thought it was a ring, a topaz ring.
Oh, yeah.
And so we had the ambulance on the way and the authorities on the way, but he told us to call him off.
Wow.
And he got up and walked away.
He was totally committing a crime, though.
Oh, for sure. I have no idea what he had done. But there was a person who actually, so there was a booth, like a parking attendant who sat in the booth at that lot to make sure that people who came in had permits and stuff. And when the guy got up and walked away, he said something to him and kind of laughed at him. And that's the last I ever saw of him.
Wow. Next TV appearance, some guy's going to be like, Chad hit my daddy.
Right. Next time I'm going to do the Christmas parade on TV. Mr. Chad, you ran over my dad with your topaz. Great. Thank you. Merry Christmas. But yeah, don't recommend that, by the way. That was a really scary incident.
Yeah, God, just listen to you tell these pre-stories. I'm so excited about your story. Oh,
me too.
I don't have any other questions besides, like, I should have put a pad for the edge of my seat that I've been sitting on this whole time. My ass hurts.
Okay.
I'm like sitting on the ground. The seat is very low. I feel like a little child.
You know that does elevate, right? There is a lever underneath that you can pull it, kind of like a barber's chair, and you will
This
you
is
will
what we
ascend.
call
Oh,
Chad
I
Dad.
grabbed the wrong thing earlier, and I was like,
That's
"This
what
is
she
very
said.
like." I feel like I have to screw this, and I don't want to screw it. And now I see why.
Did you just say this is what we call Chad Dad?
Yeah.
I know.
She just looked at her like,
Look at that.
that you can elevate
Look at that.
Well, what you doing there, little buddy?
I don't know.
I love your Salem, Massachusetts sweatshirt. Do you all know that they're the home to the world's largest Ouija board? Have you seen that?
We were there for like ever last year.
Did you see the Ouija board?
I don't.
I don't think we saw it.
Oh, yeah. They're home to the world's largest Ouija
Guess we have
board
to
now.
fly back.
Yep.
Well, we want to go
So I
back
can get another
anyway,
sweatshirt. All right, should we do this?
I think that we should dive in.
So we're going to dive in.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're not going to dive in. You're going to dive in.
So this, the story I'm going to talk about is it's still 40-something years later, for all practical purposes, still an unsolved mystery.
Oh,
Even
wow.
though when we kind of walk through this, you'll probably think it's not unsolved, but it's still classified as a cold case because there's no resolution for it, really.
No, I hate that.
So I grew up in this area, and I'm a child of the 70s and the early 80s. So I was born in 1971.
Why does that blow me the fuck away, guys?
'Cause he
Everyone
doesn't
Google
look like
Chad
that.
Benefield because he looks 35.
Oh, we're going to post so many photos.
Oh, yeah. Get ready.
We're going to be slutty with your photos.
Oh,
Okay, great.
so
Get
slutty. So slutty.
So I grew up here. I mean, and if you can imagine growing up in Owensboro, Davis County, surrounding areas. I mean, in the 70s and 80s. I mean, it was a pretty quiet place. I mean, sure, we had crime and things like that, but this is before the internet, so you would never really hear much of it. I mean, if there was any kind of crime, you would read about it in the newspaper, or you would hear about it, or learn about it on television, like the nightly local news. So now I knew that very early on that bad things happen to kids, and I knew that because my sister she's younger than I am. She went to elementary school with a young girl who had cystic fibrosis. And that child passed away when she was a student at Thurston Elementary School. So like I had that knowledge as a kid that bad things could happen to kids. But the case I'm going to talk about was the first time that I learned that bad things could happen to kids at the hands of adults.
Oh, shoot.
So when this happened, in fact, when I say this name, anybody around this area will immediately know it if you were around during that time frame. But there was a young girl named Kathy Kohm. She was from Santa Claus. Do y'all know that name?
I just looked at Heather. I've never heard the name.
Okay. So, well, this is good.
Yeah.
So, Kathy Kohm was 11 years old and lived over at at Christmas Lake Village over in Santa Claus, Indiana.
It's the best place ever.
Well, best place ever and smaller than Owensboro, right? So when I'm talking about having no concept of crime, really, as a kid in Davis County, I mean, just imagine what the kids in Santa Claus were like.
It's called
Right.
Santa
For anyone who
Claus,
doesn't know,
Right.
we have Santa Claus, Indiana, and that's where Holiday World is,
Yes.
which is like this theme park, which is a true treat. You should go.
The
And
best.
It was
yeah,
nice.
and every little part of the park is a different holiday, and so it's literally like my wet dream. But anyway,
Oh my God.
and so it's like this super cute town that's very small, but it's literally Christmas themed, guys. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing sweeter. Like you go there and you're just like, I am now more wholesome than I was before. That's how I feel about Santa Claus. So this is already blowing me away.
Yeah.
So she lived in Christmas Lake Village with her family. She was 11 years old, very active. She was an athlete. She was on the swim team. She loved to swim. She was a jogger. She loved to run. She played soccer. She was an ice skater. Great student at school. And of course, I didn't know her. We all got to know her when the case unfolded. But one day, she went jogging. And there was April 5th of 1981.
How old is she? Sorry.
She was 11.
11,
So at that time, I was 9.
I've never gone, like the thought of 11-year-old Brooklyn just being like, I'm going to go for a jog.
No.
Yeah, but think, 1981.
I know, but I
1981
just-
in Santa Claus, Indiana.
I know, but I just didn't jog. I played sports, but I was like, let me get this workout in.
I quit
I wasn't
soccer because I didn't want to run.
Yeah. Okay. I'm already impressed. I'm already impressed by her that she went for a run at 11.
She went jogging at 11, and she didn't come back. That was April 5th of 1981. So her disappearance actually made national news because she wasn't found for over 2 months.
Oh, no.
Oh, I hate that.
And so what's interesting about this, in 2017, I wrote a story for our website about Kathy Kohm because, again, like I said, for me, that was really my first introduction into human-on-human crime. Even though I'm sure there were probably other stories that were out there at that time frame, but for me, the fact that there was an adult who did this to a child was rather alarming, right? So anybody my age in that time frame was terrified to know that this girl went jogging by her house, by her neighborhood, and disappeared.
And that's a nice neighborhood.
Really
it's
nice.
gated and fancy.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm pretty sure they all have like a big snowman or something that they put out on their front porches for the holidays. Like Shannon, I think, lives there now. And it's
really?
like gorgeous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It was beautiful back then.
Yeah.
And so, so for 2 months, over 2 months, she was missing. And what's really interesting is that there's so many people over in Spencer County who to this day remember being part of the search crews because friends and neighbors were going out on foot and trying to find her body. And it took months to find it. In fact, it was June 11th where there was, I think it was a local farmer who was out maybe, and they ended up finding, it was a farmer and his son. They were out and they saw they saw a shoe in the woods. And they were like, well, that's interesting. And the shoe was like really battered and stuff. So they kept looking and they ended up finding her body in the woods.
No.
So that was June 11th of 1981. So a couple of months later. And again, this story had already made national news. So here's where it gets really interesting. And here's where the mystery of this really starts to unfold. So when her body was found on June 11th, there was a neighbor who remembered the day that she went missing pulling a car out of the mud very near the site where her body was found.
Oh.
So he's like, wait a minute. I remember pulling a vehicle out of the mud very near there.
Yeah.
Like the day that she went missing. I remember this. Well, so that vehicle belonged to Stanton Gash, who was a firefighter in the city of Evansville.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I'm not ready for this, guys. I have goosebumps. I'm not ready. I don't know how I feel. I have feelings. A lot of them right now.
Yeah. So Stanton Gash was a firefighter in Evansville and then apparently had a second home in Santa Claus. In fact, I don't know this for a fact, but I always heard that he actually had a home inside Christmas Lake Village too.
Oh.
Okay. So when this person came forward and said that they remember pulling the vehicle out, the police obviously very interested. He was immediately named a suspect. So in court depositions and things like that, his friends said that he actually got his car cleaned the day after Kathy Kohm went missing. Of course, they were saying their testimony was that, well, I mean, he's a really clean guy. Like it made sense. His car was stuck in the mud. He got it out. He cleaned out his car. So on June 11th, which is the day that her body was found, he was actually admitted to a hospital because of a drug overdose.
Oh, shit.
So this was the day that her body was found. So she was found on June 11th. So a couple of days later, he was in the hospital under psychiatric care, like he was barricaded down. So the investigation continued. It went on. They were trying to link Stanton to her murder. By the way, she was raped and she had been shot in the head.
Oh my God. Can we also highlight that his name sounds like a porn star?
Okay, I was thinking that. I was like, I need to find out if he's a bad guy or not because that name is...
His last name's Gash. That makes me feel just dirty and weird. Who would want to be like
Terrible
Mrs. Gash? Okay, anyway.
Ew, yeah, and can I ask a question? Because
Yeah.
I'm sure the law enforcement, they probably haven't seen something like that up there in Santa Claus, Indiana. So did they bring in the FBI? Like,
Well, so here's the thing. So this is very interesting. This is why to this day there are still some conspiracy theories. In fact, there are people who live in Santa Claus, and I learned this when I shared the story on our website, that there are people in that community to this day who do not think that Stanton Gash was the person who killed her.
really?
There are a variety of people who have these theories that other folks were involved. In fact, there's an interesting piece of this story. In fact, Kathy Kohm's mom talked about this. In fact, when the JonBenet Ramsey case unfolded, the Kohms were interviewed about that particular case for their perspective because of what they experienced with their own daughter,
wow.
right?
Oh, man.
And so in that interview, Kathy Kohm's mom talked about how when Kathy went disappearing, a park ranger came to their house to search the Kohm's house for evidence. And so a lot of folks are like, well, why did a park ranger come
Yeah.
do that? You know, it's very
That's so bizarre.
That's weird.
out of the realm of what you typically expect. So keep in mind the time I'm talking about, this is really before DNA evidence, right?
Yeah.
So fun fact about this case, I say fun fact, that's probably not the word to use, but it's an interesting fact about the case. When DNA evidence came into existence, this was the first local case that actually DNA evidence was used in.
Oh, wow.
But keep in mind, that was years and years later. So when they actually started to employ DNA testing and evidence and things like that, it was very, very difficult to make connections. So let's go back to Stanton for a bit. So Stanton, at this point, is under like psychiatric hold in a hospital because he is the suspect. He apparently, this is again all circumstantial evidence, which would later come to light in a civil trial. He allegedly wrote a letter apologizing for something.
Oh.
But there was never any indication what that apology was for. It just happened to coincide with the timeline that I'm
Oh,
giving you.
shit.
This is all looking suspect.
Oh, for sure.
Very
Yeah, very suspect.
sus.
What did the kids say?
As DeMangelo would say, sus.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, that's sus.
He's also 22.
yeah.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
I don't know.
Suspect.
Suspect? Now they
Oh,
say
it's just
sus.
sus?
It's an
Yeah,
abbrev.
I know. It's
It's an abbrev.
Let's all insert our eye rolls
Yeah.
because
Right.
that's annoying.
So Stanton Gash at this time was 31 years old. Okay, 31.
Oh, man.
So police tried to link him to this murder of this young girl. They tried, but never could do it. There was never enough evidence to convict him. So the Kohms decided that since they were not having any luck in criminal court, that they would actually file a civil wrongful death suit against Stanton.
Oh.
So again, remember, she was found in June of 1981. The civil case unfolded in 1983, so a couple of years later.
Okay.
So the civil case took place over in Boonville at Warwick Circuit Court. They moved the trial over there. So the circuit court drama played out. The Kohms basically sued Stanton Gash. They had tons of circumstantial evidence involving that truck they pulled out, involving the letter that he had written where he confessed to something. They had the evidence of this drug overdose that sent him into psychiatric care and a psychiatric hold. So they had all this circumstantial evidence. They ended up winning the case.
Wow.
And this will date
amazing.
this. But guess how much money they won?
Oh, my gosh.
Because you know in civil, if you file a civil suit,
$15,000.
less.
25. Less? No.
7,500.
They won a settlement of $5,000.
What year was this? 83?
83.
So like 20 maybe now? I
Yeah,
don't know.
so-
I have no
I
idea.
don't
But
know.
if you think about that, I mean, that's astonishing to think
That's
that
nothing.
that you're in court because your 11-year-old child was murdered.
Yeah.
And the settlement that you get from the alleged perpetrator is $5,000.
Didn't Kobe Bryant's wife just get $28.2 million?
For the photos, right?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like just $28 million.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that why she got the settlement?
I'm pretty sure it was. Now, this is also circumstantial evidence because I don't know for sure. But I'm pretty sure that's because photos got released of the wreckage and stuff by the news.
You know what is, this is totally switching gears, but let's talk about that case for a second. A couple of years ago during the Owensboro Air Show, we had a flight, well, I say a flight school, there was a couple of guys from it. There's a flight school out west that educates people who fly helicopters on how to get out of distressful situations where you can be killed. And so they had this helicopter that literally flies upside down. It's crazy. It nosedives. It does rollovers. I mean, a helicopter. And you can
that's
see,
terrifying.
You can see F-16s doing this,
Right.
but a helicopter, well, y'all know I will do anything. So they were like, "Hey, do you want to ride with us?" Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally do it too.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
So I went in the helicopter, but they were telling me that they could have, if the folks who were in, like Kobe Bryant and his pilot, they said if they had taken their course, they would not have perished in that crash.
Oh.
That they went back and studied like some of those reports about what happened with the helicopter. They said we could have trained them to prevent that. Like we could have gotten them out of that situation. It's pretty harrowing though to ride in a helicopter that flips upside down.
I mean, if you're going to go with anybody with one that flips upside down, it's probably those people that I would do it with.
Well,
Right.
the crazy thing is, like, people are like, well, do you wear a parachute in a helicopter?
A parachute.
Because if I eject from the helicopter with the parachute, guess what's going to cut the parachute in half?
Do you know what a helicopter is?
Yeah, it's like
The key question
not a
is, do you
parachute.
know the difference between a helicopter and a plane?
right.
You said that in my head. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. It always takes me a minute. I'm on 5 seconds. It's fine.
So let's go back to the Kohm case.
Yes.
So so they won their civil case against Stanton, $5,000. Okay.
That's so weird.
By the way, her parents are named Bill and Rosemary. So Stanton ended up obviously getting out of town. He moved to Florida. Well, years later, when DNA evidence really started to come into light into practice, there was a local prosecutor in Spencer County, John Dart, who was like, we have this case that's sitting open. We should really try to use this DNA evidence in the Kathy Kohm case and see if we can make any connections. Because, the family had some sense of answers because of the civil trial and the fact that they won, but they didn't really have conclusive answers on the criminal side. Mm-hmm. So John Dart, after the case sat dormant for several years, decided to meet with investigators and ask them to go down to Florida and get DNA samples from Stanton Gash.
Oh, my gosh.
So they did.
Did he give it up or did they have to get in his trash?
Here's the deal.
Okay.
So in that process, obviously, because they were able to extract some DNA evidence from Kathy Kohm herself, remains and different pieces of clothing and stuff like that, but they couldn't get a conclusive profile from what they had from her. So they had to go to Bill and Rosemary, her parents, and get some DNA from them to be able to sort of complete Kathy's profile as their child, right?
Oh, wow.
So then they went down to Florida to meet with Stanton Gash, and they did. Stanton, they got what they needed to get from him. After they left, he committed suicide. He committed suicide. And so what?
Oh my God.
I did not expect.
I was not ready for that.
Yeah.
I wasn't either.
So naturally, what people assumed was that was an admission of guilt.
I wonder why. Like,
Right.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So people just assumed that was an admission of guilt. Well, so here is what happened that really has, to this day, some of those folks in Spencer County still unsure about Stanton's guilt. Because here's what happened. So they had samples from him. They were going to take samples from Kathy Kohm's body. They were going to be compared to hair, blood, and saliva samples, which were taken from Stanton Gash in Florida. Investigators with all this DNA now tested a variety of items. In fact, there were about 20 of them. And those items were Gash's .22 caliber rifle, several items of Kathy Kohm's clothing. They were cross-referencing to see if, there were traces of his DNA on that clothing because she had been raped. So gun, they actually took some of they took samples from the floorboards of his car that was pulled from the mud. They took some samples from that. Mm-hmm. So nothing at all was conclusive.
Stop it.
Nothing.
What the fuck?
Really?
They could not make a definitive link from Stanton Gash to Kathy Kohm.
The DNA did not match.
I'm not saying it didn't match, but there was nothing that was like wholly conclusive.
Yeah, I have one quick question. So I know that they found her body 2 months later. Was she killed like the same day? Do we know that? When she was taken, was her body 2 months dead?
God, I'm not sure they know, but I'm assuming that's what folks just...
Okay.
That's probably the premise they operated under for sure.
Okay. I just didn't know if she was like held captive for, I don't know.
I think the location she was found was like within less than a mile of her house.
Oh, man.
I feel like that was it was very close to the neighborhood. She wasn't far at all. I think it was like a mile away.
And in Santa
And it
Claus,
took 2 months for them to find her a mile.
that's what I was going to say. There's a lot of rural.
You're right.
Yeah.
Rural. That's a hard word.
Apparently.
Rural.
Today on a couple of Sassholes,
Streisand.
we're going to have an impromptu hooked on phonics moment as Brooklyn learns how to say yeah, and Heather learns how to say woo.
Crushed it.
So Sergeant Joe Vetter was the guy that was the manager of the crime lab at the Indiana State Police. And he confirmed that there was no DNA evidence that actually tied Gash to the crime scene. And they actually did like weeks of forensic testing on what they got. And Vetter said, and again, keep in mind, this is a sergeant with the Indiana State Police, and that post was in Evansville. He said, and this is a quote, he said, "I'm comfortable that DNA evidence is not there." He said, "I don't think there is anybody in the country who could find it." He says, "We knew this was a long shot, but given the circumstance of the case, it wasn't like we were going at this thing with the 50-50 chance. We knew there was only a slight chance of success." Well, like I mentioned earlier, this was really the first local case that employed DNA testing, and he admitted that he was really disappointed that the results weren't more favorable.
Wow.
But so,
is this on like a show? Are there any shows about this?
you know, I don't think so. I don't think that. Well, now I mentioned her case made national news, and it did.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, that's really the perspective here, because I mean, I was 9 when she disappeared. Well, I was 9 when they found her body, and you know, we were seeing this story not just on like our local news channels, but it was picked up by national news. And it was crazy for us to look on TV and see the photograph. Oh, but I have a photograph of her. I'll show you guys.
Oh, yeah. I wanna see.
Because this is the photograph that we all saw.
She's so cute.
How is that 11 anymore? I can't figure out ages. I'm like, oh, she was 18.
Yeah, so this
This
is
11-year-old girl.
That picture was on every television station that we watched as kids. I mean, and so for us, I mean, we kind of were her, right? I mean, because, oh my gosh, I mean, she's from right across the river, and this happened to her, and she's on national news, and she was abducted. In fact, I remember, and I shared this in the story that I wrote for our website back in 2017. I remember right around that time, I was a motorcycle rider. I used to compete like in motorcycle rodeos and stuff like that.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
Do I even know? Are we friends? Like, I don't think I know you. That's
what?
so cool.
Wait.
Yeah, I used to compete in motorcycle rodeos.
Casual.
That's where the sleeve tattoo comes from. Now I get it.
Yeah, we would do like different disciplines. Like we would do like barrel racing, but on motorcycles, and we would do. What
is that?
Yeah.
Where's my phone? I need to Google everything.
We would do like slalom. You know how like snow skiers would do slalom on their skis? Like we would do slalom on motorbikes to like see how quickly we could turn in and out of flags and stuff like that.
Slalom.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And we did like I guess ramping. We would go and like speed up ramps and see how far we could jump our motorcycles.
I did not know you were evil.
I had no idea.
Did
what
not
can I
know.
say?
The more you know.
But yeah, so my friends and I, we were on our motorcycles all the time. And I remember right around this time, and it was really, because again, you know, we're out late at night. We don't think anything's going to happen. But I remember, I think it was my friend Brad or my friend Brian, I'm not sure, but we were on my motorcycle. And we were riding in our neighborhood, which was also very rural. I lived on Roy Clark Road out in East Davis County. And I remember we turned onto our road to drive back to my house, and this car came up behind us with their headlights on, and they were trailing us, and they followed us forever. And,
oh my God, I hate
they
that.
kind of like drove us into a ditch. They shoot, and so we were terrified because immediately we started thinking about this case because it was going on, and we're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Is this the person or whatever? And it was terrifying. And so I remember we ended up getting to my driveway and turning into my driveway like as this car like finally like sped past us. But it was insanity.
That's terrifying.
And I remember that. So I'll never forget that memory of being on that motorcycle and having that car trail us like that and get up behind us. And we were trying to outrun it because you can't outrun a car. And so they were like moving over to the right and forcing us into the ditch. I mean, they were really trying to wreck us. And I have no idea who that was.
Why?
No idea.
Why is everyone
80s,
crazy?
The 80s, right?
Yeah, or early 80s.
So like
81.
in the 80s, they were just like, have fun, see you later.
Sure.
Now it's like, track my kid,
Well,
there's apps and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
if you think about it back then, my mom was like, all right, see you
And
later.
still, there's so many murders, though. And you're still not. I mean, I've always said this. If you're going to kill somebody, it has to be someone random. Can never, like, no one kill anyone, right? Heather's staring at me like, really? Is this what you say? No, but it has to be at random. And I don't know. It seems like there's no way to get away with murder anymore. Like, there's too much. Our phones are pinging off of
phones are
phone
pinging,
towers.
there are cameras
Everywhere.
in places you don't even suspect them. I mean, but back in the early 1980s, we had none of that. I mean, you had landlines.
Everyone was a runaway. It's shocking that they weren't like, oh, she was a runaway.
At least they didn't say that. Yeah, because a lot of the cases that we cover, they do say that a lot.
They ignore it for a long time.
I wrote this in the story that I wrote about Kathy. It says, to this day, locals in and near Santa Claus, Indiana have their own theories because the mystery still relatively is unsolved, right? It says some recall rolling up their sleeves to look for Kathy when she disappeared. Some searched for days. Some combed acre after acre on horseback. Like that's how the search went.
Oh, wow.
Some insist there were overlooked leads in the case. It said everyone in the tri-state expected answers that never really came. Kathy's parents never got the definitive answers they were seeking either. By the way, they since have moved back to the area. They live in the tri-state again, but they moved away for a long time. But yeah, so the mystery of what happened to their daughter is still, for all practical purposes, unsolved.
Oh, wow.
Even though all signs point to Stanton Gash, and they sort of did from the day that she was found. But
do you think that he did it?
I don't know. I mean, I remember when they named him as a suspect. It's so weird to me. That's 40 years ago, and I still recall that, but I do because it was such a high-profile case, and it was so gripping. I remember when they announced him as a suspect and showed his picture on television, thinking, and then hearing all the circumstantial evidence that they had. It just seems like it. It seems like, because with that confession letter for whatever he was confessing, to me, that doesn't seem like something an innocent person does.
No.
I can't imagine writing a confessional for something minor.
Right.
I can't imagine overdosing on drugs in that timeline that is so, like, on this exact same day and then going into psychiatric care. I understand moving away from the tri-state if you didn't do it, or even if you did do it and you're sort of linked to this case. Like, I understand why you would move from Evansville, Indiana to Clearwater, Florida. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But then for him to immediately commit suicide after they came down and extracted DNA. But I guess you could raise the question, was he nervous he was going to get caught? Or was he just upset that this crime that he had been linked to back at home came calling it his new residence?
I know, but if he, I don't know, like, to me, I would think that was 100% an admission of guilt, because I would be happy that they finally got my DNA if I didn't do it. I'd be like, you're finally going to prove that I did not do it. I'm not the person. But what I just can't fathom is how it seems like, this is a firefighter, in his early 30s. What drove him to commit this crime that then obviously he's not able to cope with, right? So did he just see her running and was like, and I just can't understand. Did he see her running and was like, something broke and he was like, I'm gonna take her, and then didn't know what I just can't understand the crime in itself. And then his after response is it's gripping in the sense that, like, he couldn't live with himself.
It isn't interesting, in the entire time we've been talking about this, we've not once talked about motive.
I was going to ask that.
Motive, it never really came up because there were so many questions about his connection to the case. I don't think investigators ever got the opportunity to even tackle motive.
Yeah, like, did he?
Like, why?
What was his history? Did he have a criminal record? That's what I was going to ask. Like, what did he do before?
I don't know that he could be a firefighter with a criminal record. Can you?
I don't know.
Because you're into
Probably
people's
not.
houses.
Probably
I don't
not
think
today.
you can.
I mean, maybe back then, possibly, I guess. But, like I said, I always heard this. I'm not sure if it's true, but I always heard that he had a residence in that area, like a second residence. And, maybe it goes back to that through line, what you heard in Silence of the Lambs, that you covet what you see. And so maybe he had seen this young lady out. Maybe he knew who Kathy Kohm was. Maybe it's somebody that he saw running on a daily basis past where he was. So maybe it's a situation like that where you covet what you see. But I don't know. And the sad part about it is no one is going to know because of the way that the case played out. In fact, you all have tackled the Heather Teague case, right?
I don't know about tackle. That's a strong word. That was like our second
episode.
Really?
Back when we really...
So there's a very similar thread in that case where police had a suspect, and as they approached that suspect, that suspect committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they sort of share that detail in the case. And of course, the T case to this day, still unsolved.
Yeah. There's a lot of holes in that one too. They
Oh,
didn't
for
get
sure.
any-
You know, I saw her mother. I was having this conversation with my mom last night, oddly enough. I saw Heather Teague's mother, who's been on this desperate search for answers. And look, nobody can blame her.
Yeah.
This desperate search for answers for decades. And I remember that desperation led her to the Montel Williams show one day. She went on to get a psychic reading from Sylvia Brown, who was a regular
Sylvia
on his show.
Brown.
You know who
Oh,
that
wow.
is? Yeah, so Heather Teague's mom went on Montel Williams and met with Sylvia Brown on the air. And Sylvia was trying to like dive into the case and get details and then give, you know, her psychic prediction about where Heather was, which obviously didn't lead to an answer. But still, I mean, that kind of shows the mindset these parents who don't get their answers, like the links they will go to try to find
Oh,
them.
I would do anything. I would do anything.
Yeah, I came across a quote from Kathy's mom. Oh, yeah, this is actually leading up to the civil suit. She said, I would shoot Stanton Gash if I could get by with it. She said, I have enormous hatred for him, and I don't care if the whole world knows it.
Wow.
So it sounds like she
I
believes
mean,
it was him too.
I think I would.
Yeah, she followed it up.
I think it's him.
I do too.
She followed it up with this. She says, victims of such tragedies don't just disintegrate. The anger doesn't go away, but it doesn't have to destroy or cripple you. So her family actually ended up getting involved with various networks for missing children and stuff like that. That's why they were interviewed for the JonBenet Ramsey case, because they became, you know, activists to a degree with other families who had kids who were missing.
Wow. Did they have other children?
You know, I don't remember. I don't know. I mean,
was just
and
curious.
you know, I'm not sure. And honestly, in all the research I did for the story that I wrote, I didn't see that, but it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be probably odd that they didn't, but I'm not sure. But here's how I close that story, because like I mentioned, you know, for kids who grew up in that time frame, I mean, I think all of us remember exactly what she looks like. I showed you all the picture, but I don't have to see that picture.
Right.
Because, I
Wow.
mean, her picture is like burned into my brain and always will be. So I wrote this. Like I said, in 1981, I felt like I knew Kathy Kohm, and I still do. She's the girl who taught me when I was just 9 years old that really bad things can and do happen to kids. She's the girl who made me think twice about walking anywhere alone, and for months and years, I didn't. She's the girl I thought of immediately that night that a friend of mine and I were riding my motorcycle and a car came up behind us, slowly trailed us, spotlighting us the entire length of the road. In that instance, we were terrified. And in that moment of terror, to some hauntingly psychological degree, we were Kathy. I think for those of us who were Kathy's age when she disappeared, we are all still her.
Should I take the mic off and drop it? I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's Kathy Kohm's story.
Wow. That
That's so
gave me chills
sad.
A little bit. That's really sad.
That's so sad.
It is.
And I think there's just, what's also sad is to take a moment and understand that that was the loss of your innocence as well.
Oh, but yeah, for,
You know what I
for every
mean?
kid who lived here who
Yeah.
could comprehend what happened to her, for sure. And again, we just in this location in the country, we just didn't have that kind of thing. I mean, no one would ever have conceived that until that happened in 1981.
Wow.
Mm.
I don't have any words. The article's still on WBKR.com.
It is,
right?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, you guys can look that up.
And actually, I think if you go to our social media page too, when I posted that article, a lot of folks from Spencer County who were involved in the search for her, or who had theories about what happened to her, they chimed in, and you'll see some of those theories and things in the case that people thought were suspect. And when I say suspect, I don't mean Stanton Gash. I mean other things that caught them as odd or as outside of what seemed normal for an investigation and things like that. You'll see what people think about it.
That's what I ponder too, because firstly, I was blown away that the person who pulled the vehicle out remembered the vehicle. You know, like I don't know that if I helped someone's vehicle, I'd be like, oh, it was a 2020 RAV4 silver or something like that. I don't know that I would remember that, and that they automatically went to him. I just wonder how quickly he was chosen as a suspect, whether or not he was or wasn't, and if that, because we've seen this a million times, where they grab onto one person, they're like, you will be the person who did this, whether or not you did it.
That's what I was thinking too.
And then and always when you're reading into those cases, you're finding where they're like, well, no one mentioned that the mailman had cuts on his arms and that he was known for being a pedophile. I don't freaking know, but there's always more than one suspect.
Oh yeah.
So it's very shocking to have it seem like there was only one and no one else. Like there was no other DNA taken from anyone else to possibly
Well, I mean, they didn't have DNA at the time,
Yeah.
so
Well, I
nobody
mean,
would have thought to
at
do that.
like all those years later when
Yeah.
they went back, he was the only person they were testing against.
Sure.
You know, I'm just intrigued that there was no one else to possibly, I don't know.
Yeah. I think in the minds of a lot of people, when the Kohms won the civil suit against him, that settled the case. Like, I think for a lot of people, I mean, even though a $5,000 reward seems so ridiculous and insulting.
Yes.
But again, early 1980s, right? I mean, so $5,000 probably at the time was a pretty good chunk of change, especially if it was coming from somebody who didn't have it. But I think for a lot of people, that was probably some resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the Kohms, I'm not sure if that was resolution. I'm going to guess not, probably because of what happened afterwards when DNA was introduced and they went down to get Stanton's and Stanton committed suicide. And then all that evidence was inconclusive. I would imagine there's probably still some question out there, but I don't know how you live with that. I don't know how you come to terms with it or try to find some peace out there. But I know that they have. I mean, I think that they would not have moved back here if they didn't have some sense of resolution.
Yeah, and they're actually helping other families now and at least turn a tragedy into something good. So that's good.
Well,
there you go,
hell's bells.
Sassholes.
Man,
Kathy Kohm.
That was beautifully told.
That was.
Thanks.
Mr. Chadwick.
I
Thank
know.
you.
The whole time I felt like I was watching Forensic Files. I was sitting up, I was like, leaning forward.
This was such a
Thanks for having me.
treat, like to have someone tell us the story. I was like, I drove in here and I was like, oh, sweet baby Jesus. I don't have to tell a story or try to ransack my brain. And thank you for doing the hard work for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I felt like I
appreciate it.
forgot something the whole
I did
time.
too. I was like, I'm not ready. Wait, I don't need to be
I
ready.
was like, wait, I just have to show up.
Right. It would help if I could have said California early on, but everything's fine.
Oh, but it's so much more fun now because you're giving people a vacation destination in Honolulu. I mean, really, check out the hotels on Expedia.com right now for Honolulu and enjoy your stay.
Well, thanks again, Chad. We really
Thank you,
appreciate
Chad.
it.
Thanks for having me, Sassholes. It was good times.
Yes.
Yay.
Rate, review, subscribe.
Follow us, do all the things.
Please do all the things.
Please, all of the things.
Tell your mom and your sister, but
Yeah.
not your kids.
And if you are a Chad fan, please make sure that you continue to listen to us after this episode.
Yes, thanks for being
I know that you
honorary
came on.
Sassole, Chad.
Yes, you're
Thank you.
perfect.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Theodore, can I pet that dog?